I genuinely tell everybody, I'm like, I think I'm working my dream job, and I would do it until the day I die if I could.
Should this be the last episode then?
I think, yeah.
we finally found
somebody who made it.
When somebody didn't know what the difference between 1% and 2% milk was. You can't get a wrong one.
You're like, what if you could? What if you did?
And that's how we came up with our dumbest idea ever. All right, welcome to, I think this is going to be episode 27 of the Until You Make It podcast, Mickle. It's amazing how far we've come.
That is amazing. 27 episodes over the course of, how many? We've been doing this for like 43 years.
You know something? I feel bad when I see other podcasts say like number 405. And I'm like,
well, at that point, why even keep? How are you keeping track? You kept
why
track.
Do it? Oh, okay.
No. Why do it? Why keep track? So you kept track throughout all the 300s. I feel like
they're not going to stop counting.
Well, at some point, you just got to keep going.
Right.
But like,
anyway,
doesn't matter.
I feel good about 27, and I'm very happy to be here with you.
Eventually we'll get to 100, and that's a good milestone.
100 will be nice. I feel like I want to do something really special, like the live band idea.
Speaking of bands, you had a show last night. I saw you
have a show last night. Mike saw me for the very first time play drums, which actually I started as a drummer in as a very little kid, and only learned to play guitar later. So drums was my first instrument. What did you think? How did I do?
Well, I got to see you through Steve and Natalie's cell phone because two people decided to stand right in front of us.
Yep.
Right in front of our table as we were watching, and it perfectly blocked my view.
I'm sorry.
Of you.
That sucks. I
got to see your right hand sometimes when you would hit that big shiny metal circular thing. You would do that, and that looked good.
Thank you, man.
But you sounded great.
Thank you. But I wanted to bring up that this is the first time we have alone time together.
We're never alone. The last time I remember being alone was in the Booten apartment. We were sitting on the countertop in the kitchen, and we did like a just like on the spot recording. We didn't even film it.
We started out doing the show by ourselves, and it was a lot of fun when we first started during COVID, and we would talk about what we were working on. And then it's funny how it kind of started as an idea of how about every once in a while we have a guest on or something like that, and just for fun, and it just became our thing.
Now we have to have a guest. We do have a guest today.
Well, it's too much fun.
Yeah, it's
too much fun to bring somebody in, and like it kind of feels like then every episode has its own vibe, and I really like that about it. But yes, we have a guest coming in today, our old friend from college, Tyler Law, who we actually reconnected with recently, and oddly enough worked at the same company, not at the same time. We'll get into that story a little bit later, but I'm excited to learn more about what he does these days, because when I say reconnected, we didn't really get to talk that much about what we're up to, so I'm excited to have him come on.
Yeah, Tyler's awesome. I got a chance to work with Tyler.
You worked with him more than I did, yeah.
At your old job.
Should we tell the story now, or should we tell it?
We should wait.
Okay, we'll wait till, because it'll be funny when he's here. But same thing, he's in, not quite, I think, working with cameras these days. I mean, I think he might a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we, started in college. We did the local film festival together on campus. Worked on different video teams. But same kind of thing. He just was working with cameras back then and doing short films. And I think really appreciates what we do. Always was very appreciative of our work. And, we always tried to support each other, I think. Their films were hilarious in college.
Yeah, we have a love of dairy, us and him. And we'll get into that. We'll get into the dairy cinematic universe. I feel like we're alluding a lot
to what's going to happen.
Well, that's good.
We're not actually...
That's teasing.
Oh,
we're
this
teasing.
Is the teaser section.
You're teasing. See, if I had topics written down, what kind of topics did we want to talk about? I don't remember all of them.
Well, the one you have first listed would be being deterred from new cameras when seeing the comparisons.
True.
I know you guys have been talking about that a lot over Discord.
Yeah, so Lumix just came out with a new camera, the SR2. I didn't even know there was an SR1. So go figure. The SR2
I know,
came out.
right?
And it's just like, why can't they just buy? You're still, it's like the same problem of like searching for their camera that's just perfect on all levels and it just doesn't exist.
Well, speaking of perfect on all levels, heck of a pre-show, Mike. Tyler's already here.
God damn it. All right, great job. Great
I thought
talking.
we would have a little more time, but
That's
he's
fine.
early.
So you did lie. So
No,
you told me
he lied. He said 12:15.
No, well, you relayed the information, which makes you a liar.
Oh, he said 12 to 12:15. So technically, he's within that range.
For context, I watched your first 3 episodes and your most
The
recent 3
first 3?
episodes.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that's-
Over the past week or so.
Wait. Very first 3?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You guys were talking a lot about Knight's Tale and Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal. I still love the Dark Crystal. That's a great
I still
movie.
love Knight's Tale. It's my favorite movie.
Great.
I saw it last night when I was scrolling, and I'm like, should I watch this? And so I was like, no.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
dude.
We
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it then.
It's my
Right?
favorite, like...
I think we watched it.
You talked about
I don't know if we
watching it
watched
for
it
the next
together, but-
episode, so you better have watched it. Or
Yeah,
you-
I
or
did.
you
I
lied,
did.
Yeah.
I did. It was great.
It's my favorite movie of all time, of like a feel-good movie. Like, I love watching it. I just love
for sure.
it. It hits on all the things.
Yeah, I
Romance,
like
comedy.
I like when people's like, I don't want to say favorite movie, but like go-to recommendation is like something like that, where I'm not
Yeah.
like being like, Schindler's List or like,
It's Jaws or nothing.
is Jaws 2 or nothing.
It's Dr. Caligari's. Yeah. Whatever.
Mr. Megorium's
That's what's the whatever the cabinet one is.
Oh, yeah. Cabinet
yeah,
Doctor.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's like the real movie. You guys don't even watch movies. Haven't watched that. We were actually going to watch, I was going to show some people Heat.
Oh, wait.
Michael Mann's
Yeah, I've never
1995
seen
Heat,
Heat.
Oh, okay.
which is also one of my favorite movies ever, which I personally think it's one of the best, like, well-made movies. Like, it's, the whole package is just, like, unbelievable.
Okay.
We rescheduled the movie night. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it next week instead, but, like, he hasn't seen it.
Let's put it on.
We can watch it. It's
real
like,
quick.
It's
Do that instead.
What is it like?
on Hulu. It's only
Maybe like a let's
probably like
watch
2.5
kind of
hours.
thing.
Yeah, we'll do it before, and then we'll
And then we'll discuss.
Yeah.
No,
quick 2 hours.
Mike actually has to act later.
You gotta.
I do actually.
acting?
He
I
has to
go-
jet in like an hour and a half.
Oh
I have to
wow.
get punched in the face,
Ooh.
get mugged.
Well, me too, but I'm not getting paid.
You paid the guy. You
Yeah,
paid
You're
the
actually
guy.
paying the person, yeah.
Yeah, cut this from the pot. I don't want to. No, you have like is this?
Yeah, it's a friend of ours who we worked with before. His son goes to
Dry class. Need somebody to be.
oh, hang on, my mom's calling.
Really?
Hello?
Connect to the Bluetooth so we can hear.
I thought it was a bit. I don't even know.
Yeah, I was calling before, but you didn't answer, and so I made another phone
I would
call.
never
and I
answer
kinda,
a phone call on the podcast. Absolutely. It's very unprofessional.
So Mike's got a couple of things listed here just to prep you for what we're going to be talking about. Your story of being hired, which I
Okay.
assume is for the same company that Chris was
Callan.
working for.
the
Oh, that
coincidental-
story.
the
Okay,
coincidental-
yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, love that story.
So funny,
Your work as a producer at Sci-Fi.
right?
Yep.
I recently canceled my subscription to Adobe Premiere, and I'm now a DaVinci boy.
Oh, you?
Everybody.
us.
Oh, you're
Steve was the last one to do it.
I'm surrounded by. I gotta go. I need to leave. I need to leave. I can't be out here. I went to Max. They're following me. They know me.
Mike told us that you actually happen to also be in the dairy short film industry, as he
Oh,
The
is.
yeah.
Dairy Cinematic Universe.
We
Actually,
are.
Tyler started it. He was first.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, our lawyers are still working up the paperwork.
There is a distinction, and we will get into it.
When we saw you drop a milk short film, my God,
So funny.
that's why Kevin went to law school.
That's why I did it?
He's getting ready. He's
shit.
getting ready.
Instead of hiring a lawyer,
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
went
I'll
to
just
all
do it
the way to law
myself.
school. Yeah, he's trying to save money, honestly.
Is that saving
Is
money?
it? No, he got a full ride. Full respect to the guy.
really?
Yeah, over
Wow,
COVID,
okay.
he was like, "Let me take some PL set things," and
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what that means.
He talks, I don't listen.
He talks. I don't listen. That's kind of like our relationship.
There you go.
Then lastly, we got Chris's creativity in the music scene.
Oh yeah, that was
Cool.
more of a pre-show thing. If we got to it, that's not
What was the other
totally
one? What was
like.
the other one?
hear
Not
about
that
that.
one. The other one.
That was it.
The some about creativity at the end of a project.
Self-doubt. toward the
Self-doubt.
end of the
Oh
project.
yeah.
Ooh.
I want to add maybe that one.
You want that one as well?
Yeah,
I'll
I
move
like
it
that
over.
one.
You can make the music one.
We'll
You
keep
can
track of that one.
Can move that one.
What I want to get into first is exactly what you are doing these days, because we kind of set you up at the beginning of the podcast as classic. We're all the TCNJ video guys, right? I forgot that's actually another thing to mention.
Yeah.
Is that Ryan and I were working for the college,
Yeah.
in the marketing department doing the TCNJ videos. And then lo and behold, you guys come in and do the same thing. And it's such a good gig, right? Back then.
Oh my gosh, it
It was
was
a lot of fun.
I had worked in the cage prior,
Yep.
doing like the equipment and everything, and I didn't really get a chance to like make for money at the time, I was still a student.
Right.
But then when they came up with that, that role, seeing you guys do it at events and seeing the stuff you guys made, like huge inspiration for us. And then like obviously when it fell onto our laps, we were just like running with it. We were so excited to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great opportunity to almost get a sense for what because that's like a real position. Like the fact that they let students do that and get a feel for like kind of doing video marketing work.
Oh, for sure.
At that age was really helpful, I think, to get a sense of, doing that for other businesses too. Because everything we did is applicable to any kind of video business that you would be working in.
Oh, the things you did there, you ended up then doing at your
Exactly.
next job for,
Well, yeah.
for Ramapo.
Well, so
Yep.
that was the fun thing was that TCNJ video work. I don't know if you know this story, but the reason I got selected to be like for McAllen is because they saw the TCNJ video.
Oh.
And their client was Ramapo, and Ramapo had looked at TCNJ's video work and said, "We want the people who did that."
Oh my God.
And then I was that guy.
You were that guy. You were that guy. Yeah.
And they're like, "Great, so we're just gonna hire you."
Oh.
And what are the chances, right, of that happening? And so, I mean, TCNJ just being a great part of that, and of letting us have that experience.
I'll one up you on that
Go
even
ahead.
deeper. The only reason I went to TCNJ was because I saw Iris on the IMM website.
Oh, no way.
Wait, that's not. No.
I think I was
Are you
looking into
lying to me?
schools. No, I swear to the good Lord, I was like looking into schools.
No kidding.
And like I'm on the TCNJ website. All my cousins went to Rutgers, and they're like, "Go Rutgers." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Rutgers is huge. I don't really feel it."
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
my one cousin's wife, Krista, went to TCNJ. She's like, "You should check it out." So I went and like I looked at the place and I was like, I'm not too crazy. But then I looked at the IMM website and I saw that and I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to make short films. I want to do
Right.
fun stuff like this. And I thought that was what the IMM department was. So I went in as an IMM student, went to orientation, and the Kaipoff was like, all right, guys, we're going to talk about making apps and designing games.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I'm in the wrong room.
Come to find out, we were the only
You were
video film
literally-
people in the IMM department,
And they
nobody
pushed
else
you
did
on
it.
the homepage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, the way we talk about IMM is we love all the opportunities they gave us.
Sure.
We had a lot of shit at our disposal.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cage,
Yeah.
the
Oh, my
equipment
gosh.
cage. Just John Kaipoff, who we actually want to have on the show eventually too.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen all the stuff he's been doing these days? He's
No,
doing like the
I
woodworking stuff.
not. Oh, yeah. Okay, so as I was
He's
leaving,
really cool. I
him
love
and
John.
Brett were doing a lot of that, like
Yeah.
the working, what's it called, Makerspace.
Makerspace.
Yes,
Yeah.
And that was real. I did a lot of tutorial videos for them to
Oh,
give
yeah?
to videos. Like that was my
Yeah.
extra work on the cage. I was like
Right.
recording them doing like the laser cutting and things like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I knew they were getting into it. I don't know what they've been up to now.
Yeah, but in terms of IMM being, I mean, the way I like to frame the, what would you call it? The program that we had in college was interactive multimedia. Just kind of was what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Whatever you wanted to put into it, it was kind of, I don't know if that's the right word, like open source. Like you take what you want and just make what you want out of it. And you take the resources they give you and go make stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about John's mentality too.
Oh,
Was
for
he was
sure.
like, if you're making stuff, if you're doing your thing, this is where you belong. And so I really appreciated the flexibility that program gave us to kind of explore and do what we wanted. But in terms of coming in and being like, where's all the video stuff?
Yeah.
I completely
Oh,
understand
I
that
was
because
lost.
and a reason why it appealed to me when I went there was because I didn't know I wanted to do video yet.
Sure.
I didn't know I liked making short films. I just knew I liked music. I
Yeah.
originally maybe wanted to go to school for music. I was thinking about
Oh,
it.
okay.
And so I knew that was part of it. We had some video people, we had some animators, and I was like, cool, I get to go in and meet all these people and figure out what I want to do. And Whereas if you're looking for video stuff, you're not necessarily going to find it there.
No,
which is why
no.
you went to the great Arts Comm department.
Com building. Oh yeah, I
Hell
transferred
yeah.
like day 1.
Oh, really?
Like I literally
Oh, wow.
left
Well,
orientation
that's good because you
Yeah.
found out quick
because I
and
didn't want to miss.
That's better
my
than finding
orientation.
out later. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's also interesting because Jackie was a comms major, and she says, I didn't get anything out of that.
Well, I would also agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you agree that it's still the same thing applies as you get in what
Yes,
you put out?
absolutely.
I think that's really for anything. You hear a lot of people talk about, in general, about college that way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
same thing. You got to make use of those resources while you are there, because I mean it goes by quick, and you have even just the professors. The professors are
Yeah.
a resource.
Honestly, I think the better resource for me from the comm department was the equipment and then also the people. You know, there were so many people that were just there and willing. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They didn't have specialties, but they knew, like, I'm free on Sunday. I'll go to a shoot. I'll go hold a boom mic.
Absolutely.
You teach me how to use a camera, I'll use it. And I think the people and, like, the connections I made there with other students is really what got me where I am.
I mean, same here
Yeah,
with
same.
Josh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Like,
yeah.
You know, the network's the most important thing. Coming out of a
Yeah.
spot like that, the more people you associate with and get to know, I feel like it's kind of exponential in a way, you know, because that person will know 2 people, and then that person will know 3 people, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden you like got all these little feelers out and can kind of go certain
Well,
places.
CMF was a huge, like, driving force. Without CMF,
It's true.
I think I made like 3 movies for CMF.
Yeah.
Without CMF, what would you be
Well,
making
let's
stuff
talk.
for?
Let's talk about that for just a brief second. I don't want to go too far on this stuff because I do want to get to the more what we're up to these days.
Sure.
But it is true that Campus Movie Fest, the whole idea being make a 5-minute film in a week.
Yeah.
You know, could be as low of a bar as you want, or could go as crazy as you want, and was just kind of an excuse for these little networks, these little group of people, friends that we all had, to make something.
Yeah.
And every year. And then you come out of college and if you did it every year, you had 4 pieces that were like super, super passion projects.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I have ones that I hated. I have ones, actually, I don't like all of them now, but I'm not supposed to because that was fucking 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. We all made stuff in college we don't show anybody anymore.
But at the time, it's just that it's a great thing to have. So
Yeah, because I mean, at the time during college, you have the people, the equipment, the time to do stuff. You know, don't have a 9 to 5.
it's really
but,
the time.
But
A
when
lot
it's
of it
Campus
is the
Movie
time.
Fest, you literally I all caution to the wind. I didn't care
yeah.
about a single class. Didn't go
Oh.
to one. I like every single.
My life was on pause for
Yeah.
for 7 days.
Absolutely
great.
Yeah. Oh, so good. I can't pause 7 days nowadays.
And a lot of the professors understood too from other classes. Like they
Yeah.
were super into it. I was like, I'm not going to Spanish class, dude. Like,
Well, especially since I was.
I guess the tail end of that would just be, that's one of the reasons we all got pushed in this direction of production and video production is because we have that innate passion for making shit with cool people. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we never made anything together.
I know that was the fun part of it. I
Yeah.
mean, the funny part of it is that we had our own little circles
Yeah.
that like didn't quite commingle,
No.
but then would all come together to watch each other's stuff.
Yeah. And
So
I
I,
will
guess that's kind
say,
of how it worked out. Yeah.
the mass production you guys are bringing into stuff is definitely what drove us to push ourselves. Because
Aw.
like we came in like the first one we made, all this history of college talk.
I know,
But Just
yeah.
the Tip was like a little like goofy comedy thing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the top 4 thing, and I was like, oh, that's incredible! Wow, it was, fun. And then after that, we were like, but we gotta bring it next year. We gotta wear costumes. We need to get people and different locations, not just one location. So,
Right.
and I think that's the fun thing about it. It wasn't like we hate these guys, we're gonna fight them and beat them, but it's more or less like
There were
we're
people
driving
like that.
Oh, there were, and they lost.
Thank God.
They lost to us.
I was part of that group.
Yeah, Mike was in that.
I was part of
Oh,
I was
Sam.
part of the hater group, unfortunately.
And that's why we don't hang out with you now.
That's why I got text. I can't even. I thought it was...
No, but yeah, it's funny how that stuff worked out. So then, going back to the McAllen story. So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
right when I decided that I didn't want to do that kind of production anymore, and I was going to leave McAllen. Lo and behold, literally like a month or so later or something like that.
Yeah.
They are looking through more resumes and stumble upon Mr. Tyler Law.
Yes, they
and
did.
James was still working that time.
Yes.
James has produced on the podcast before,
Yep.
and he was on an
Yeah.
episode actually.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, "Yo, that fucking Tyler's has your job."
I was
like, "What?"
I was I was looking
I
for
asked
something.
James. I was like, "Did
Yeah.
you like recommend him or something?" And he was like, "No, it was just a cold applicant."
I was
What
actively
are the
looking
chances?
to find something in the production space,
Yeah.
something because at the time I was a coordinator that was really focusing on like coordinating and like tracking down music cues and legal stuff and like there's like invoices and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm where I want to be, but not doing what I want to do. So like I'm gonna keep my connections, not burn any bridges, but let them know like,
Sure.
hey, I need to go find something a little more creative. So lo and behold, I'm looking at stuff on I think LinkedIn. And like I see
Yeah.
like, oh my God, a Hoboken video editor spot. Like absolutely. That night I made a website, made a resume, sent it all over, sent this huge like email to Elliot specifically. I was just
Nice.
like, hey man, like this is what
great.
I do. But and like I barely even saw the website because there's another McAllen Group website that I think I might have gone to the wrong
Yeah,
one
I
at
think
first.
there was,
It's like
yeah.
a real estate agency or
Yeah.
something. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then during the interview, he was saying like, oh, we have some other TCNJ people here. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Like it's
Who? Because it is a tight.
it's like it's
knit
not
of
only
video
tight,
people.
but it's also like a mostly South Jersey, Central
Yeah, that's
Jersey,
true,
you know.
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know any video people that came up north.
right.
And then he said Chris Lundy. I'm like, no way,
What the hell?
no way. And I was like, I just took this guy's job a few years ago in college.
It was true. Twice
Yeah,
we like
yeah.
followed each other's footsteps.
I literally told
Is
him, I'm
that
just
not
like,
hilarious?
if you really want someone to fill in Chris's spot, I've done it before. Like, I'll do it again, you know?
And you've done a great job.
Oh, thank you
And
very
couldn't
much.
have done better.
It was fun. I really did love that year working there. It
Yeah,
was just
man.
so much fun. I tell people that's the most I've ever made in a year. Like,
It really is.
nonstop.
They churn.
What, TCNJ
out,
or McAllen?
McAllen. Outside of school, I guess. In school, that's all. But this was like client work, going to shoots, driving
Yeah.
around. James and I were traveling across the state. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's so much production.
Yeah.
And I think it really did right out of college of just being made to do that much stuff and it gets you used to the pace of almost like an advertising agency,
Yeah.
right? You get used to the style of ongoing content
Yep.
and it really sharpened my teeth as far as working with brands and companies and people.
Oh, yeah.
I've never met that many damn people in my
gosh.
life. And, almost like sharpens the producer side of your brain too. And
For sure.
and coordinating that role was kind of it's a small video team. I mean, we've all done work for McAllen and you kind of have to do a little bit of everything, right?
A lot of hats.
And yeah, so you get real good at it real quick because you have to.
yeah. And also talking to some like regular people off the streets that just got a surgery you need to interview them about, or a doctor who's been in like 12 years of surgery school and
Yeah.
like, no offense, doesn't really have too many personalities skills. So like you kind of have to pull that out of them.
Mike and I were
Yeah.
just talking about the lawyer work and how tough
gosh.
that can be.
Yeah.
No offense to lawyers, but
I just did one on Saturday
you can be
Oh, yeah,
very
for McAllen.
Oh no.
Lawyers. Personal
yeah.
injury.
They're a special breed of people.
Some of them, I mean, if you get a litigator, they're gonna perform for you. They're used to
It
performing.
is true, and I
Yeah.
met a couple of those people.
Yeah.
A couple wild personalities in
Oh, yeah.
in litigation specifically. Holy crap, these people are like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're
Dude, that's actually why I was there on Saturday because I had already done a shoot for these people in December, and the guy didn't like his videos because he brought that energy
Oh, okay.
into the social videos, and then when his family watched them, they're like, "You can't act like this.
You're a madman.
This is insane. You look insane. You can't do this." And so literally, his daughter was there on Saturday, kind of like
Oh my God.
overseeing his, and she's like in high school, and she's like overseeing his performance
Oh
to
my
make sure he
God.
doesn't go off the rails.
That, as funny as that is, more people need a high schooler in the room, telling them how
This
they
is
should be
not
making
cool.
content.
Like,
Yeah,
Dad, this
like,
is not cool.
No one
one's
is going to think this
no
is
one's gonna
cool.
watch this.
Yeah.
You don't look cool doing this.
There-
I will fight for you. And it's like,
I like the idea that his family's begging, no, Dad, don't post that reel.
don't
Dad,
post that, please. Redo everything. So it was literally just him that we had to go there to redo.
But I will say, I really did gain a lot from that, specifically trying to get stuff out of people, especially on set. When you're like, when you're behind the camera, they're in front of it, trying to just like calm them down, be friendly, and like make it a conversation, but also try to make sure you're getting like the sound bites you need, and coerce
Because you're
out
going to
them.
be in that role. You were the editor too.
Yeah,
Which is kind of an advantage and kind of a disadvantage.
Yes, yeah.
But no, I think I just keep coming back because now I go on to other shoots doing. I don't know why this is coming to mind, but with Daniel that we had on the show, we were doing a thing with like a chef.
Okay.
And kind of a personality, and I was just thinking about working with people specifically. I don't think I realized how much like social engineering isn't quite the right word, but like the social aspect of being on a set and making sure everything is going well for the talent, making sure everybody's comfortable and having them be comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And kind of, what's the word I want to say? Like code switching. You're kind of changing the way that you act to make somebody else feel comfortable so that they can perform. And it's like, that's part of it.
Oh yeah.
And working with actors too, same thing.
Actors especially.
Yeah, it's like
you're just very conscious of the way you communicate to people.
It's like when we were doing those hair care videos with like the models we had come in to like show off the product, use their hair. Like they wouldn't look me in the eyes. When I get too close to them, they would shudder a little bit. So
I think that's a you thing again.
That's yeah.
That's mostly
It's coming up a lot.
I didn't experience this.
Has anyone else experienced this? Just you, man. Just you. They were fine with me.
Yeah, they were fine. No, I'm thinking about it. They were fine with me.
Oh man.
All right, well,
that's part of it though. Yeah.
You learn not to.
We learn.
You learn not to.
No, we definitely.
You learn not to stare for too long.
Cut that.
I feel like we're experiencing.
Cut that.
I'm on the same page as you guys. I'm on the same page.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. This is where the podcast will go boom, boom, boom.
Hey, he knows the style.
I'm watching.
And then it
auditions. I don't watch. I listen.
Oh,
I know
it's
what
the same stinger. He's just talking about the audio of the stinger.
I don't know our own show. So
you never watched an episode?
No. I was thinking of changing that stinger, and I might just not now. I don't know. How iconic do you think it is? The ding. Do. That's what it is.
Well, I wouldn't know.
You seriously don't know what we're talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
I dig it. I like it a lot. Because like I like when podcasts try to find a way to segue without it being like
Segueing past the McAllen days and working at that production company. What was your? Did you same thing? Kind of decide to leave for the creativity aspect of it? Because that's kind of what I was feeling when I wanted to move on to something different.
Yeah, I think that year of like literally putting in the reps, like you just said, like you got more comfortable being on camera talking.
Sure.
Like everything in this business is putting in the reps, And that year of like going out shooting, going back editing, going out shooting, edit, bumping out all this stuff, that got my skills up to where they needed to be. Before I went there, when I was at NBC, I feel like I didn't necessarily have those skills. I thought I did. But then going into this role, I realized, okay, I didn't. So then with the McAllen Group, I literally put in the 10,000 hours. I don't even, there's that many hours in a year? Who knows? Anyway.
Steve.
Oh, no. Oh, God. He's breaking.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, yeah. That many hours, putting in the reps.
I don't know.
I felt ready. And also at the time, there was a role that just opened up. So a few of my connections that I kept in contact with reached out and said, hey.
Fantastic.
That's huge.
Producer role, open up. Everyone loved working with you, come on back,
it's
apply.
incredible.
Because that's something that doesn't happen unless you made good friends and you did good networking and you didn't burn bridges like that.
Yeah.
To be texted an opportunity.
Oh my gosh.
And be the person they thought of is huge.
I dread the question, how did you get where you are? Because every role I've been given has been because someone was just like, oh, Tyler, are you available? I'm just like, yeah, give me that. So just kind of like, it really is right place, right time, right connection with the right people. You know, like it's not just a friendly here and there. It's like, oh, this guy, I know he does consistent good work, and I like working with him. You know,
It's because we like you, right?
Well, one of the themes on
They like
it
you.
seems every episode. We
Yeah,
just talked about it with Frank on the last episode. Being nice and being good to
Yeah.
work with.
Kindness.
Kindness is 80% of it. Maybe 50%, and then your work is 20%. But
70% humor,
yeah, a lot of humor turns
10%
out.
work.
People like to
10%
laugh.
work,
5% looks.
50% humor, 70% humor.
Looks is probably 2%.
Looks are in there.
It's in there.
Anybody that was ugly, they're at the
Well, that's
unemployment office.
That's just a human thing of like, it's nice to look at someone like symmetrical. You know?
Yeah. Someone symmetrical.
None of us are symmetrical.
What?
I mean, you ever do those things where like they see your face
Oh,
be
yeah,
symmetrical?
that's-
Like,
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
I will say that. I will.
I don't
I'm
think so.
I'm gonna try it on you.
Before going quickly back to the college days, before I knew Mike, I will say when we saw you in their stuff, we'd be like, we got to find a handsome guy.
He's a good looking
How
guy.
come they get? Where'd they find a handsome guy?
Oh yeah. I tell him that all the time.
Yeah.
He told me one time, he was like, dude, you're better looking than I am. I was like, fucking no, dude. You're so handsome. Oh my God.
He's handsome.
Look at him.
Zoom in camera. There's no cameraman.
We'll do it in post.
Wait, why were we talking about that?
The creativity.
No,
is what-
opportunity. Opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Getting opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaks volumes to how the impression you left on people.
Yeah, and I hate to be that guy, but I've worked with people that are not kind and not fun to work with, and they aren't given opportunities again.
Well, because you would never text them.
No, why
lost
would
their
you?
number. I print it out and I shred it.
That's good. That's,
Literally.
that's good
Effect.
practice.
Yeah, I need to physically lose
Added
the number.
effect,
Yeah,
physically.
Oh yeah, I'm into it.
I go to therapy 8 times a week to get hypnosis so I can forget their
Yeah.
face.
Is it working?
No.
Oh,
I still.
I told Mike you gotta stop giving that.
It's funny because I know who you're seeing.
Oh, yeah. You guys go to the same hypnotist?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do a
man.
joint session.
But it was the creativity. It definitely was. You
Sure.
know, it was fun to do that work. But like, once the opportunity arose, I was like, was there. Once the opportunity was there, I was like, I got to get back to doing stuff that's a little more on the creative side.
Yeah. So, do you think you found some of that where you are now?
Yeah. I genuinely tell everybody, I'm like, I think I'm working my dream job, and I would do it until the day I die if I could.
That's
Really?
amazing.
You know, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
I don't
incredible.
mean to.
That's
I don't mean
incredible.
to. I don't mean to call out
For
the
you
name,
to,
but
no, just for you to say that. It's
I
huge.
think until I made it.
Whoa.
That's
You're
the
the
name of
first
the show.
person to literally ever say
really?
that. That's a big stance.
I'm telling you, I watched
I'm
episodes.
gonna put
guys.
that in big letters. That Tyler, you're done. Actually, we can wrap it up.
Well, he made it, so
I'm out of here.
what are you doing
guys.
here?
Is this should be this be the last episode then?
I think, yeah.
we finally found someone.
Somebody who made it.
The whole time we were just looking
Oh
for
my
someone. Okay, we're done. We're good. All set.
That's it. The journey's over.
Tell us about what you do, Tyler, because I want to know.
As
For
much as
sure.
you can,
Yeah, absolutely. So I worked
Yeah,
for
obviously.
legally.
legally. Yeah. So I worked for Redacted. I do Redacted.
Oh, I don't have a button for that.
Well,
This
I
is
used
Steve
to
has
the-
the beep
the beep.
button.
Okay. So I work for cable entertainment marketing for NBCUniversal. Cable entertainment includes Sci-Fi USA, E, Bravo, and Oxygen. My main team is Sci-Fi and Oxygen, but I dabble in the others as well. So I'm a producer, writer, editor with them. So for the most part, our role is marketing the shows that we have.
Well, okay.
So it's from creating the campaign strategy of a new show that we're going to get to, just kind of making spots to push like the movies we're syndicating or even sometimes the shows that we're syndicating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I
Is it you wear all 3 of those hats, or do you have one of those, like the producing, the writing, the editing? Do you do all 3 of those things?
Yeah, for the most part. We have a few people that just do writing and just do editing, but for the most part, and I will say this is kind of industry standard, it feels like for the bigger networks, you got to be wearing a lot of hats.
sure.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. And it's the best way personally that I feel it is to work, being able to like write your own stuff because you know how you're going to edit it and, produce it your own way and things like that. Yeah, there's the great thing is there are departments for certain things. Like I don't mix my own stuff. I'm not too great at that. We have a music team if we need to like have something made. VO and obviously things like that, talent, they're all different teams that decide that. But, you know, when it comes to like the initial writing, producing, editing, yeah, that's
Sure.
kind of the role is all three hats.
That's sick, man. Can you give a like an example of something you did recently just to kind of give a sense of things?
Yeah, sure.
If possible, anything you
Absolutely.
can talk about?
So I'll give my three main projects last year. I worked a lot on the Chucky show.
Okay, yeah.
So I worked a lot when that first came out, the first season. The second season was when I was at McAllen, and the third season was when I came back. Actually, I got a award for the teaser that I made for Chucky season 3.
Look at that.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
Hit
pretty.
hit the
Oh, was there a clap button?
yeah.
Oh, thank you. Stop. Well, please.
Very quick.
No, that was one of the first projects they gave me when I came back to the team, and
Yeah.
they were just like, "We want to make a teaser, season 3. He's in the White House." I don't know if you guys are up to Chucky lore, which
No,
I
I
don't.
wasn't up
Unfortunately
to it.
not.
How did he
How do you do that?
That's
Oh
good.
man, you
How
gotta
did
watch
he-
season 3.
get in the White House?
Oh yeah,
How did this guy? How this
kind
little,
of manipulated the president's son.
how did
Yeah.
he do that?
Oh, you gotta watch 7 movies and 3 seasons of a show to get that one, buddy.
What? All of that builds up to him getting to the White
It
House.
builds, man.
And it matters. You won't understand it if you.
Yeah,
you don't.
if I miss the third
Nope,
movie in the series,
no, you gotta
lost.
start from the top.
5th movie.
Yeah, you gotta go from the beginning. You can't.
That's so funny. So what was kind of the format of it? And did you come up with it?
Yeah, that was honestly, it was one of those things where just like we want to do a teaser, just kind of go cut something, have fun, like like try to make it
Yeah.
fun. Because like the trailer is something different, like obviously that's going to be more like when the show's a little closer to being done, we have like actual bites and story beats, and like we're focusing on the arc and whatnot. But for this, it was really like we just have a lot of like footage, like they're just sending us dailies at this point, and like for a show like Chucky, a lot of the dailies are a doll sitting there with like 6 or 7 people behind him in green suits.
Yeah.
Like holding, one doing his arms, one doing this and that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're like, how do I make this? You have to like imagine what it's going to look like when it's done. You're just like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
gotta ignore the 7 dudes in the full morph suits, just like making him walk and talk.
so that's what you have. That's what they give you to work with to come up with your idea. Like you don't put that out there, but like
Yeah. So early on, that's all we had when we wanted to like do an initial like tease that like season 3 is coming. It was kind of like the date tease of
Okay.
like, hey, it's coming out this time. And I knew it was White House. So like the whole thing was kind of like revolving around like the reveal that he's in the White House. We used some like spooky patriotic music I found online. And it was just like a fun like building piece. Like again, this was
Yeah.
like one of the most free to roam pieces I had, where it was just like, kind of like go for it, Usually we have like a lot more time constricts, but this was mostly digital and social. So they were just like, make it feel good, like make it fun.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, no, it was a good time. And we got bronze nationally for trailer with music without lyrics. So it was cool. Yeah. Which is
It's cool.
awesome. Yeah. It was
It's
felt
pretty
good.
rad, dude.
Oh, thank you.
So when they give you footage, when you say they give you like for the finished product, do they just give you the whole show or like episode? You have to go through and see the stuff, or like they already picked out for you clips that they want to show, and then it's up to you to kind of like who makes the decision of like what to show, what not to show, kind of thing.
Honestly, we get for most shows when it's first coming out, just so we can get a feel for everything, we are getting the same thing that their like director and showrunners are getting of like dailies, just like literal folders full of
wow.
like, okay, do that again. Okay, do that again. All right, let's get it from this angle. Like literal like massive folders for like, okay, this is day 1 and 2. It's just one scene. This is day 3 and 4. This is another scene
Yeah.
somewhere else. And like,
Oh, geez.
it's a bit daunting
It's
at first.
overwhelming, yeah.
It is. And even for some shows, we get like the whole season and we have to do something with it. And even that's like, you want to make like a 2-minute piece out of 12 episodes. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I wonder how standard that process is for. I have a little bit of experience with something similar to that.
Sure.
My first gig out of college was working at a trailer house
Okay.
in New York.
Yeah.
And so we used to do stuff for HBO, and I was an assistant editor there.
Okay.
And my editor, same thing. They would give us the whole episode of just the camera footage.
Mhm.
And my editor would tell me to cut the scene as if it was the show so that he can have a better idea of what the scene actually is.
Interesting.
To then pull assets for a trailer mock-ups.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's kind of similar.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just how they do it. I mean, how else would you do it when you're trying to get stuff out quickly to the people that are going to be making the promotional content when they haven't even touched the editing yet?
Yeah.
So I guess they're just kind of giving you the same thing that they would give the editors.
Well, the editing, the VFX, the color grading, like the whole
Yeah, don't
process.
forget how much
when you get
VFX
the
is going into
when you
that
actually get the
stuff,
finished
yeah.
project.
And honestly, it all starts when we first have a show and we're trying to get the creative strategy together. We have scripts. We just have scripts. So we like, I just finished reading like a new show coming out. Like I read all like 10 scripts so I can like get a feel for the show. So when we're going into these conversations of like pre-planning like key art, graphic packages and things like that, I can be like, well, this show's more serious, or like this character's a little funny, so we can do this and that. And that's where it all starts. And then from there we'll start to get like, dailies to show us what it's going to look like stylistically. Then from there we might get some, rough cuts with like some like temp music. Sometimes they'll put in music that they know they're not going to get the rights to, but like we want to get this vibe of music. So it's, it's very, very piecemeal. And we're usually working in step with the production companies to know what their show's going to be like, because sometimes they're finishing an episode a week before it airs.
Right.
So it's like we have to be in step with them from the early stages.
Now, what does your team look like over there in terms of?
Sorry. No, I'm not
you're
bored. I'm
fine.
just tired.
And is it the same team that you work with? Like, do you have your own team that every project is with that team, or does it change?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah. So we have we're like the creative marketing team for cable entertainment, and like there are a few people up top, and then there's like, one below them, and then there's usually like the producer editors. And like as a whole, we're pretty malleable with working with each other. Like we all know each network, so like sometimes we'll get thrown with a different CD, creative director, or like we'll get thrown with a different supervising producer or something like that. So for the most part, it's the same teams. There's certain shows I don't really work on, or people I haven't worked on because they're like very specialized in that. But like I said before, like I bounce between Sci-Fi Oxygen USA, and they have all different people that will oversee my work and kind of guide me.
And when you're saying your work, I'm just curious, are you passing some things off to other assistant editors that you have, or is it all you when you're doing that stuff?
No assistant editors.
It is all you.
We have like one AP and one PA, but like they're basically just junior producers. Like we kind of just treat them
so
like
you're
producers.
all flowing together kind of in a certain way.
Yeah,
I get that, yeah.
I feel like maybe back in the day there used to be larger teams with things like that, but I will say we're a very thin team that wears a lot of hats.
Huh.
So like,
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I'm kind of thinking of it as as two schools of thought.
One. There's only one. It's always ever one.
I'm not gonna have an inside joke about.
It's very close-minded.
Two schools of thought. It's almost like
I
having
went to one school. I didn't go to. I went to one.
It's almost like having it segmented, very segmented off. Kind of maybe fits a larger team where you're able to have the assistant level. Somebody just does this. Somebody just does that. Somebody just does that. Or you can have a team of kind of commingling people that are all doing stuff together. Maybe it's a more collaborative approach. I don't know. I don't know what's standard or what's good or bad. I'm just kind of thinking of it as like, what team would I rather be on?
Yeah.
Kind of the second one where we're all doing the same stuff and you're working more closely, I feel like. And maybe even more efficiently between people, where you're not necessarily having to send out, oh, here's the stems go back to me, version 3, version 65, and because that stuff goes. So maybe there's an advantage to having this set up kind of that way.
I 100% agree.
I mean, you're still getting to version 65, but
oh, absolutely. There are many versions.
Maybe it's easier to get there.
Many version
65 final
copy of
big letters.
Yes.
Final
big letters. Yes.
V3.
You see those mugs they have with that on it?
Oh my gosh!
I always wanted to get one of those. It's so good. It's probably the most relatable thing in the universe.
Oh, 100%. But I
totally
still
do it. I still do it.
Final
for clients.
Final.
I'm
You
aware.
still have. It's like. Because no matter what happens, it's always going to be, one more thing.
Yep. I love naming something final to try to like make people think I'm done.
Final.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be like,
this
is,
here's I got you.
Here's
psychology
yada yada underscore final. And they're like,
social engineering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Social engineering. But I do agree. Working in like a collaborative team, I don't know, versus having like people below me. Like, it's not that I don't trust people below me, but I don't like pushing off like, hey, can you make transcriptions of this? I'm like, I could do transcriptions. You know,
Sure.
like I'd rather do my own stuff and be on top of my own things. You know,
It's tough. I definitely have trust issues with handing off my personal stuff that
Absolutely.
I've worked on to somebody else.
Just recently, you got more open to that.
Yeah, well, it's very hard.
yeah.
But it paid off.
Yeah. So Mike's talking about recently. I mean, I just realized that I was taking way too much time on producing my own music,
Okay.
and I love working on my own tunes, and I love like making them sound really good, but it just takes so long.
Sure.
So I said, all right, you know what? This year is going to be a goal of mine to offload some of the post-production of the music to a mixer.
Yeah.
You know, they have some people online that have great reviews and are not too expensive. So I said, you know what? Instead of me spending 30, 40 hours doing this and going crazy pulling my hair out of why something doesn't sound good, because I'm not a mixer. I've mixed 3-4 songs in my life that I think sound decent. They're probably crap to someone else, you know, who with a good ear. So I said, why not send it to someone who has that experience and not waste my time and my sanity so that I can get back to doing my business stuff, and 2, our indie film stuff, because that's the stuff that needs more of my attention at this point in my life. So I did that, and it turned out fantastic.
Do you feel like do you think they got it back to you faster than the 40 hours or so would take you?
100%.
Because I feel like sometimes that's, especially in the stuff that we do, like people who are dedicated just to doing like, you know, mixing people's songs that get sent to him, like that's a skill to do it fast. Like, yeah, you could do it, but like you said, it's going to take you 40 hours. You got like, you got to, you know, do your own laundry and like, you know, do your things.
It's the same thing as if someone was sending a video, you know, if they've never done their video stuff before. It's like, yeah, you could do it, but we've been doing it for 10 plus years, and I could do it like that.
I do it tonight. And you're gonna have it
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
You know, edit a podcast. I'm so quick now, you know, to be able to do that. Whereas someone just starting out would be way longer. It's just the fact of life.
Yeah, and that's why people
going to someone of an expert.
Stop working hourly. Don't pay professionals hourly,
especially in our creative field. Do not charge hourly. For freelancers, don't charge hourly.
Yeah,
you will.
Regret it when you get better.
And don't hire people based on hourly, because faster work, if they're fast and they're quick, that means they're very good and proficient. And you're gonna gyp them out of money.
Yeah,
you're gonna make less money because you work less hours.
Like if it takes me 3 months to make your podcast, you're gonna pay me for 3 months of work. Like you probably don't want that.
You probably don't. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, it's a big misconception, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's a big misconception. You're not taking into account all that experience and what it took to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. Give me some insight into your philosophy here, because you said you feel like you've made it. You feel like this role that you're in, this team that you're on, this job that you're doing, if you could do that the rest of your life, you would. I'm assuming there's a hierarchy in where you're at, that there is room to improve, room to go up, but not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to go up, because it is, at the end of the day, it's your career or it's your job. It is still a job at the end of the day. You still have your own hobbies and interests and passions outside of your work and stuff. So what would be your philosophy of like, you're still so young, you're in this position, you used to be happy here. Do you feel personally a need to climb up? Do you even want to do that? Or would you want to stay where you are? And then what's like your opinion on like people who feel like they just need to keep going. They need to keep climbing. They can't be satisfied with where they are.
I think the need to climb is great for all aspects of every career path. You know, I think it's when you become stagnant, it kind of starts to get boring, or, you know, you start to lose your interest in it. I will say the more I'm gonna, if I were to rise up the ladder, that is where I am now. The more you climb this ladder, the less in the nitty gritty editing I'll actually be doing. Just by
design, by nature of it.
Next, I'll be overseeing somebody doing it.
You're the higher level ideas
exactly
person, and you're not it's definitely a different kind of work.
Yeah. And but that being said, I definitely do want to climb the ladder in the years to come because I like what I do in general, and I do want to bring that next level to myself as a challenge to be like, okay, I really do struggle with, like we're saying before, passing off a project or like even passing off notes and being like, okay, I want you to do this specifically. I'd rather be like, give me the project. Let me just do that.
That's how I feel, man.
But it's so important to one day be able to do that because like your skills are limited to your ability to make a piece.
Yeah.
But if you could instill your knowledge and oversight over 4 pieces being made at the same time,
Right.
quadruple your time, like
It kind of reminds me of that quote that was like the people that don't want to be the managers should be the managers.
okay.
You ever hear that one?
I haven't heard that.
I don't think so, no.
I haven't read that
The
one.
people that don't want to be managers make the best managers.
Yeah, I guess like
because they
reluctant leaders.
care, because
yeah.
they have the
Okay.
experience,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the idea behind it. It just reminds me of that same philosophy of like, and I think you're right too. No matter like, I'm the same way as you. Is like you feel like you want to be in that spot
For
where
sure.
you feel like, it's a trust thing again when you're telling someone, are they going to do it correctly?
Yeah.
Is it going to, and then you're coming back with all these different versions and stuff like that. I can do it in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think personally, I know in the future I want to be able to master that skill of giving the notes to not only one person but like 4 or 5 people beneath me because again, that's going to only like the output is just going to get so much better.
I think you get better at it too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this communication and clarity in the way you speak and the way you address notes and things like that. I struggle with that sometimes, especially working with clients who don't use the same language that you do
For sure.
to describe things. You start to get on that, but I think you find people that you work with well, and then you can, communicate more clearly in that sense.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I really do treasure where I am. I have a lot of great communication with the people above me. And I
great.
know
That's
when they say
fantastic.
something, this is what they mean.
Exactly.
This is what they're looking for.
Well, you build a rapport too with the team you work
Oh,
with,
yeah.
and you get to know people's language and just the way they create.
And that's definitely the downfall of client work.
Oh yeah,
When a random person's
yeah,
like, fix this part, bring this part to life. I'm like, what do you mean bring this part to life?
yeah, it can definitely get in the weeds with that stuff.
Yeah.
So how did he get past Secret Service? Like, is it the same? Is it modern day or is it the future?
Well, come on. Okay, all right.
Like-
you really want to talk about this? I'm going to talk about this.
Lore.
Chucky, the supernaturally possessed doll. Nobody really knows that he's supernaturally possessed, okay?
By this, but he's been
By
around.
this-
Okay,
he's
all
been
right,
around a
all
while.
right.
You're right. You're not wrong.
I'll accept
Suspension of disbelief.
I'll
Nick.
accept
And the
the
good guy doll itself is just like a widely known, just like it's a Cabbage Patch Kid, Like they know, there's certain circles online where people talk about there was some spooky stuff with it, but like it's the same thing as a Furby. Like sure, some people are freaked out by it, but
Okay.
most people just
They were
love a good
haunted.
Furby. I've heard that, and I agree with it after watching Chucky. But long story short, the president's family lost their youngest son, so Chucky consoled the other son and made him take the doll into the White House because he was like, "Oh, this is a doll that will be my new friend because I lost my brother."
Well, how old is this boy?
Young, I don't know.
Why do you care?
Just trying to wrap my head around the
Like maybe
story.
like 8,
He's younger.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
implied.
I don't know that.
8, 7, yeah,
All right.
24. Yeah.
Could have been.
So are you satisfied now? That's how he got in.
There you go. And he got in there,
Okay.
and
What's his MO?
actually, let me think about this. Yeah. So
Yeah, wait.
man.
What does he want?
Oh my gosh. See, okay, now here's where
World domination, the nuclear codes. What's he
here's
after?
where we're gonna start to backtrack into the other things. The reason why Chucky needs to get into the White
Oh,
House.
this is where movie 3 and 4 come in?
No,
Okay.
this is where season 2 of the show comes in. Is because Damballa demands that he has to commit some sort of egregious crime in order to become back in his favor. He's lost out of Damballa's favor because in season 2, they tried to exorcise Charles Lee Ray out of the Chucky doll.
Oh, right. There's a man inside the doll. That's right.
Oh, yeah, there's a man in that
That's right.
doll.
That's right. That's right.
So he thinks to go to the White House, a spiritually haunted and historical place for a lot of terrible things. He thinks doing something bad in there will bring him back into his voodoo demon god's favor.
to then
Okay.
become human again? Is that his
Because, well, no, to become immortal again, because he's
Oh.
losing his favor, so he's losing his immortality.
Oh.
And the doll starts to age. And see, in part 2 of season 3, the doll is horrifyingly old.
goal? And the little boy doesn't think anything of that?
He keeps telling him like, "Oh, I'm sick," and he's like, "Okay." It's just wild, yeah. It's
All right,
He does
so-
get to the nukes eventually. I'm just gonna
Oh.
save that.
Whoa.
Are
Okay.
you allowed to
too
say
much.
that?
Oh yeah, the season was long gone. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good times.
That's good. That's good.
And that's a fun thing I love about my job too, is because regardless of what you're interested in or anything like that, when you're put on a show, you got to become a super fan. You know, like
Right.
especially something like that. Like that's a franchise with a really, really dedicated fan base. So like I had to watch all the movies. I had to I'm on the subreddit seeing what people say about each episode and things like that.
Yeah.
And like I got to make the episodics, which are like 30 seconds next time on Chucky, you know,
Sure,
like stuff
sure.
like that.
Oh, cool.
So like I got to see like what people were thinking. So like I'd make an episodic, be like, okay, let's lead them this way, you know, like let's make them think this is gonna happen next episode. And then I'd go on the Reddit, people would be like, did you see that? And this, you know, people were like, you
That's
know,
so cool.
it was
yeah,
like
man.
it was cool,
That's cool.
interactive marketing in a way, you know, and that was we pushed a lot of interactive marketing with Chucky. It was a fun campaign. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a season 4 coming?
No, unfortunately.
Trap.
I believe they are
So he must have blew up the world with the nuclear codes. Must have.
spoilers.
Must have.
Really focused on that.
I don't believe there will be a season 4 with us. However, I think they're pushing around like shopping, you know, for
Shopping.
somewhere else to bring their
Oh.
show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
I got you.
Maybe cut that question.
I like that.
It's a heated thing.
Oh,
Sweet, man.
drama.
Oh, was
Sorry about that.
Oh, did I do that? Was it James? I said his
No.
name 3 times. It sounds like we're all being
It's the
electrocuted.
sound that happens once every show that I have no idea why.
Oh, you said it was
happens.
Dirty Electric with the
Yeah.
episode with Natalie.
How much did you watch?
I'm a super fan. Look at this shirt I made.
You've referenced like 4 or 5 different episodes.
You know more than me.
Like I said, when you put on a
No,
project,
listen to him.
when you
Well, I
put on a
forget.
project, become a super fan.
You said it was. You're quoting me.
Dirty Electric.
Yeah, that's the only thing I feel like it could be because it's weird. It happens on that computer, and
Okay.
it happens over here. So it's 2 different outlets. It's the only possible thing it could be.
Do you have like smart stuff in your apartment?
Yeah.
So
No, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of electric in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
I got cables running around this whole
I'm
place.
sure. Yeah.
And it's probably it's probably a disaster. But I don't know, something goes on.
Because my old apartment used to get like power surges, and I realized it's because I have a bunch of Googles in every room where I can be like, hey, turn on the
really?
lights, you know, and stuff like that. And then one day I unplugged a few, and I was like, oh, it's better. So
Interesting.
I
Where
could
are
stop.
you at these days?
I'm down in Aberdeen,
Aberdeen.
Matawan. That's the name of the train station, at least.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's right on the border. Yeah.
I'm going down to Manalapan.
Oh.
That's where I'm going after this.
Oh.
That's not by Matawan.
I don't know where anything is in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I didn't know where we were here until last night. I kept saying Brick. I was like, we're going to Brick.
Brick? Yeah, I'm going to Brick.
That one I know is that's down. That's,
Yeah.
That one I know.
And last night I was like, oh no, it's actually Butler. And my girlfriend Haley was like, that's north.
Oh, that's where Manawan is.
It's like right in the like
On the way to like
crevice of Jersey.
Red Bank-ish.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Like
okay.
20 minutes
Down
from
that
Red
way.
Bank.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Actually, I want to go back to something you said, Tyler, because I think it's pretty relevant and important to a lot of both movies and TV shows that you see being produced nowadays, and it's becoming a fan of the established property that you're working on. How important do you think that really is to truly get engrossed and become knowledgeable of that world, of those characters, of those stories before you start working on something like that? Because you know, you have certain adaptations that can really fall flat with fans because they have a problem with the people working on it not necessarily being knowledgeable or fans themselves of the thing they're working on. You know, not to throw shade on
Star
certain
Wars.
properties, but Star Wars, Halo is another example.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's so many things that are being worked on nowadays that are already hugely popular, you know, like Warhammer, Fallout, The Last of Us, so on
Yeah.
and so forth. So how important do you think that is, and how does being a true fan of those things translate into the quality of the work that you put into those?
Good one.
In my own experience, I can only talk to the marketing side of things. Like I think it's really important to really dive into something to know how we should market it. Because if I'm making a trailer, if I'm making the episodics, like I need to know what's going to keep the already established audience, because that's something I can really hype for the Sci-Fi Network, is that our fans are diehard fans. They love our shows. They really, really enjoy them. They tune in on cable, which is not something people do too much anymore. And I think if we were making it, the dirty electric.
Yeah, you just ignore it.
If we weren't truly into the shows, then like I think the fans would see through our BS. They'd see like, okay, this is just they're making marketing. But like to show them that we're listening, to show them that we're interested, like I love doing that, and it definitely translates to when you see like people commenting and people loving it, stuff like that. As far as producing shows, I couldn't agree even more again, because you're right. There are certain fandoms that are just like so strong. And it's like the second you put somebody in charge that isn't part of that fandom, like you're losing them. And I understand some people want to take it in a different direction, or like, maybe introduce it to new audiences. But like you can't, if you betray the original audience, like you're going to lose the base that this was built upon. It's not the thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Star Wars is a huge, proponent of this. That's probably one of the most solid bases next to like Marvel and DC that you can think of, that like, there's years and years of people that love this. And then you're going to be like, let's bring it in a new direction. It's like, why? It's been working,
That's the sad part about a lot of those, right?
Yeah.
That, I mean, the undeniable correlation of from the top down, someone like who you can tell is like a passionate and creative person to lead this team of creators, seems to correlate.
But I mean, I didn't see the show, so it's hard to speak on it. But when Steve said Halo was a big offender with the community, and I've only seen the trailers and clips, and from trailers and clips and the reading things about it, it's like, wow, how did they drop the ball? How did you miss on such a established IP that has everything there? It doesn't take a lot to understand what the people love and what they would want to see out of a show.
Yeah.
And then you have stuff like The Last of Us, and Fallout was successful too, but I guess more specifically The Last of Us, because that follows the IP more closely.
Absolutely.
But then you get the creator of the established IP is involved in the creating of the show.
Yeah.
And so was Todd Howard with Fallout, but I think Neil Druckmann probably more with The Last of Us. And like, people don't agree with some of the casting choices, but like the actual execution of the thing is like, great. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it.
Brilliant.
I love Last of Us. I love Fallout, and I love the visuals of Halo. Like they got the right people on the visuals. Like they're making it look awesome. But you're right. When it comes down to story, I don't understand how, when you have something that already has a story, why is anybody like, hey, we don't need it?
Yeah, we just throw that out. Or start doing things that like.
That was the Lord of the Rings show too. I remember you were talking about that.
I didn't watch season 2, but I tried watching season 1, and I just stopped after like 4 episodes.
Oh, no.
I just got bored.
Really?
I don't want to say hated it, but I mean, I guess I disliked it enough to stop. Just like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so bored of this. The Rings of Power.
I've heard people that liked it, but then in retrospect, they weren't huge Lord of the Rings fans. They just liked the show.
Interesting. That wasn't even my problem.
You hear
Oh,
people,
really?
No,
some
'cause-
people say that about Star Wars too, but the people that weren't Star Wars fans like the new movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say like one of my guilty pleasure movies is like the original Spider-Man trilogy. And like I've talked to people that are just like,
I love those movies.
that is not the comic book accurate, like they start with, MJ, like there's the Gwen Stacy later on, stuff like that. And I'm just like,
I like those.
I don't know, that was my childhood, like
I even liked the Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I liked Andrew Garfield's movies too.
I don't think they've missed a Spider-Man. I will say that.
Yeah,
Every
they're
Spider-Man's
all-
been pretty hit.
Yeah, there's
I
no
like 'em.
bad ones.
Yeah. Even the worst one, Amazing Spider-Man 2, isn't awful,
Right.
you know.
It's a good acting. It's got good stuff in it.
Yeah. Oh man,
What were we saying?
divulge into
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man.
Rings of
Being a
Power?
fan, yeah.
Skip
fan,
on
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
watch Rings of Power? Were you a
I
fan?
watched the first episode, and I just wasn't too. I'm not super into Lord of the Rings. I watched all the movies like once or twice, and like I appreciate them for what they are. I really do, but like I don't know. I never really got too into it. There's so much lore, and the books are crazy long, and
Yeah.
the movies are crazy long, and also you can't just watch one. You got to watch all three.
Kinda
I
have
feel
to watch
like.
all three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I could put on a Star Wars. I could put on Empire, and just be like, all right, cool, I'm good.
Everyone can put on Empire.
Everyone should put on.
Empire.
Put on Empire.
Empire. I watched I had the VHS trilogy.
Nice.
And I would just Empire. When I was little, I would just watch that on repeat, basically.
So good.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's my favorite one.
That's it. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
I like we're doing it live now. Yeah.
I know you got me doing it live.
Yeah, it's
now.
good. I like it. It's a good
What else we
sound.
got on there, Steve?
So let's talk about the line of work that you do, Tyler, when it comes to editing shows and things of that nature. What are your tools of the trade, and what software do you use to make these episodes?
So
And why do you hate it?
So we just want to quickly clarify. I only do the promos and stuff like that.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
BTS things sometimes, and a lot of social clips and things like that. But we're big old Premiere guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The whole company's Adobe.
Adobe.
The Adobe. the avid users are endangered species, I would say. There are a few, and even they're starting to have to switch over because like there's certain things that I don't know, like we're just like, hey, we need you to do like a scene pull for like a social, post. And they're like,
we can't do that.
well, if I'm going to go into Avid, I got to like set up a terminal, like they have to set up a drive. And it's just so much work instead of like just pop it in Premiere, in, out, export to, 9x16, boom,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the one thing I know about that I feel like I know about Avid is not quick turnaround stuff.
Yeah.
It's like deep in the weeds.
Yep.
Narrative stuff.
yeah, which I appreciate for when it's needed.
I worked in it for like 3 months though, so I can't speak to experience.
Same.
I think I want to have Josh back on again because he still works in
Never
it. till
touched
this
it.
day.
Never touched that. Never touched weed. Never touched hard drugs. Never touched Avid.
I touched weed.
I think you put it in the same category as drugs and alcohol.
it should be in the same
for me.
category as drugs and alcohol. It'll ruin your life.
Some people swear by it, man. I mean,
I
that's
get
it's stability is like their one thing, right?
Yeah.
Premiere is not known for.
I mean, no. But it's funny because, like, even like that, like, even like just knowing, like, they know they're not good. So, like, being able to, like, set your autosave to, like, every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Is, like, so
I think they've don't the latest versions at least like have that as a default now or something like
I
that.
think so.
Because I think they finally. I mean, again, we just came. Do we go on off this tangent again? It's been like fucking 6 times we've talked about this with each person that talks about it. But what's your experience like in it? Working in it for your projects.
I will say, from work to any of the freelance work I do, I never lose a project, never corrupt a project. It'll crash every once in a while, but that's more or less because I'm just pushing it too much,
Sure.
Like I have too many big things, so like I'll just realize, I got to make some proxies or something like that. But I personally have never experienced like complete and utter downfall from it.
Yeah.
So I love it. I'm a big Premiere boy. I say that a lot of work. I'm an Adobe fanboy through and through.
I mean, it's my one thing, and the reason why I switched is there are so many. I don't know. Would you call them glitches? Things that have been problems for my workflow for years and years and years. And I think I finally just got sick of that. Some of the things I do, I'm sure people don't need for the work that they create. So I think things I'm running into aren't necessarily like, there's some really specific stuff that I don't like. Working with, there's like audio stuff that I don't like in the audio mixer.
Yeah.
And I get deep into that stuff with effects and things like that. But so that's been my 2 cents on kind of why I switched. And then also once you find out the lovely world of color in DaVinci, you just like, and I know the workflows exist to do, you got your XMLs and shit you can do to go from Adobe to DaVinci and then back to Adobe. But then at a certain point, you're just like,
why do that?
the editor's right there and it's almost the same.
Yeah.
And, every software has its own little quirks and you find out what it is. I guess you just got to pick your poison in terms of what you live with and things that you need.
And that's it. You really got to pick your poison.
That's all it is. There's no wrong tool.
No,
It's
there's
just-
not a wrong tool. Because like I've been using Premiere since like freshman year of high school.
Oh yeah.
So like that's what I know. And I know
I think it's definitely the most what would you call it?
user friendly, maybe?
I think it might be.
Premiere?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I
because
think it is.
compared to Resolve, I guess, because Resolve has mini because it's a bunch of. It feels like it's a bunch of. It's like Adobe Audition, Premiere.
Yeah.
It
We gotta talk to
all
a
mixed
Final
into
Cut
one.
person. I don't know a Final Cut person these days.
Anthony actually.
They're not good.
Anthony, he does Final Cut. Yeah.
It fucking blows.
There's nothing wrong. It's just don't use Final Cut. If you're going between Premiere and DaVinci, there's no wrong software. That's
never-
it.
Well, wasn't Final Cut? Final Cut was like around before Premiere got like
I think so. Yeah.
people to go from iMovie to Final Cut. Final Cut was like the
People always talk about how
Final
they
Cut was
killed,
like
they
the
killed
Apple,
it.
It was like the Apple thing.
Yeah.
using Final
Yeah.
Cut on Macs.
But I would be curious to talk about to see someone to talk to someone who uses Final Cut and
Yeah.
compare it because I honestly forgot it existed until I thought of it.
I think personally, my only hiccup with Resolve and Premiere is that Premiere makes masking much easier to do, and
Yeah.
to actually get to where the masks are in Resolve is like more steps, and that's the only thing that bugs me.
Okay.
Is that making a mask really quickly, pen tool, or just like a fucking circle
And auto tracking it.
The auto track's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
solid.
Auto track
sometimes.
was usually pretty solid in Premiere from what I remember.
That's the only thing. It's the only thing that I don't like is like, why do I don't even, it's not right here. It should be right here where everything else is. And it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my only gripe.
And
Otherwise,
again, it's like in a perfect world, it's tough. I was thinking about this the other day of how many fucking things that you want to do to a project. How can a UI designer possibly incorporate the billions of decisions that you're making when you're working on a fucking
Yeah.
video project?
Yeah.
It's insane that we are to where we are
Yeah.
with
yeah.
the amount of stuff you can do and have it work. So it really is incredible that these are the things we're talking about.
Yeah.
That in the grand scheme of things that you can do, that
Right.
there's these small issues, but in the end, it does come down to those small issues of what you want to live with
For sure.
until it gets fixed. But the list of things that they're adding and want to fix is 3,000 miles long,
Easily. Yeah.
and we don't know the back end of it, the math involved and the
living with
program
it
development.
it came down to living with paying $60 a month for.
Well, that's the other
Creative Cloud.
the
That's what I
other
couldn't do.
thing that you want to live with, and I didn't even know you were paying that much.
Neither did I.
So Mike was paying 60 a month,
still
and
ain't.
I was somehow paying 30 a month. And I didn't
Ooh.
even know. I don't even know why. Maybe we shouldn't post this.
No, they should know. They should post it because I was getting
Yeah.
ripped off and I went to go cancel. And as soon as I went to go cancel, I didn't even just like clicking through the buttons. They're like, "Hey God, don't leave, stay." Michael, where you going? Here, take the next 60 days on us, or take the next year at 50% off. Like what?
At my price that
true?
I get for
Yeah.
nothing.
So now
I
I'm
might go
paying,
try to quit.
Now I'm paying 30, and they gave me $15 back
Wow.
instantly.
Oh.
I was like, what? All right, I guess I'll fucking stay. And I'll go through this charade with you again next March.
Yeah. Let me know if that happens again when you try to quit, because like that might be the in. No, that's the 50% off coupon code.
Strange, man.
Oh, man. It's
Strange.
just like, come on.
When I was at Max, they were talking about all the cool AI coming to everything, like all the different generative in Premiere,
Yeah.
and like the easy masking in Premiere, like literal click you and you're masked out. It's crazy. And then I remember someone was like, "What's going on with After Effects? Like you got to be something crazy in After Effects, right?" And they're like, "So Illustrator, It's
So
literally-
back to Dreamweaver.
it's literally just like, wait, what do you mean? Like they didn't talk about After Effects at all. It's literally like the
it's so funny.
bastard child. They're just like,
I mean, you can only hope that they're like reworking shit, but everyone's complaining about
Yeah.
it. It's
Oh,
like,
man.
and then you have people that are switching to Nuke and switching to Fusion and things like that.
yeah.
I don't know. What do you have any other major gripes
Gripes with Resolve?
with anything? What was
With
your
anything?
What was your
Where do I
major? What
begin?
was your major Adobe thing? Of why you left?
I guess it was the color. It was being able to, the limitations of Lumetri color, and then the ease of use. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of a learning curve with Resolve's color, But once you start getting into it, your mind opens up about all the possibilities of how powerful it is and how many different ways there are to do things. And you're like, then you go back to Lumetri Color and you're like, fuck, this is garbage.
Why is Lumetri Color not updated in 12 years? I would like someone to tell me that.
Yeah, it's exactly the same, right?
What? Like, even just the UI. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they need... when you go to the color page in Adobe and you do color, doesn't it just like spreads things out? It doesn't make it different. Like...
What do you mean? Oh, like
in
when
terms
you
of
go
the
to the actual
UI.
color page, it just makes it bigger.
It just makes it bigger.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's
So
slightly
instead
bigger.
of it being stacked,
So
it's
you're
like
not,
a little vertical.
you're not actually getting more
horizontal.
tools or easier to
No.
understand tools or
No.
I don't understand that part of it because I see them try to market to me on their ads and stuff of like, oh, I use my my HSL like special corrector and I can make this purse blue. And be like, dude, that looks clanky as fuck. That looks. Do you know how bad that looks?
So there was a period of time where I wanted to do Resolve, but I didn't have like the studio version, and like
Right.
I was gonna toy around with like I just wouldn't run on my computer. It was just like not going well at a pretty crappy MacBook. So like I just learned how to. I had like 4 or 5 single HSLs being like skin tones for just HSL secondary. Let's drag it this way. Okay, now the shirt. It was literally like my project was a mess. Exporting it took like 7 hours, and it was like it was so bad. Because like when I was in school, I was like the color guy. So like I loved coloring. It was so much fun. But like I was trying to follow the DaVinci Node workflow using like adjustment layers and like 12 Lumetri colors, like masked out. It was just like no, it's not working.
And I think it truly was when it was a necessity to come in. I actually needed to go into DaVinci when I got these cameras because they operate in CDNG. Okay. So it's a raw workflow that only really worked in DaVinci. And once I got in, I was like, okay, all right, I'm starting to learn a little bit about color. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to go back to the software switching thing. It's like, well, the editor's right here. Let's see how good it is. And immediately it was a performance thing. Really? And I was just scrubbing no problem.
Yeah, I do.
On this high quality footage.
I have an issue with that in Premiere.
And it was just a breeze. And I was like, whoa, where has this been? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And whereas before, I mean, and that could have been a limitation of the machine at the time too, but just the fact that it was handling it with so much grace.
No, it's true. I mean, I have our movie on just a HDD. It's like 12 terabytes or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
How big the movie is, and then like I'm scrubbing this. I'm working on this 4K raw footage. 12-bit footage, just absolutely no problem.
Wow.
In Resolve and color grading it.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's totally great.
Anyway, enough of us kind of just praising Blackmagic.
I think they used to have an Adobe product that was specifically for coloring. Was that a thing?
I don't know.
Speed grade.
Speed grade. That's it. Yes. Yeah.
Speed grade.
And like,
that's still a thing?
I don't think so.
No,
I think they killed it.
Yeah.
So because it has to be a different app to make you pay for it separately, or include it in the Creative Cloud, or pay for it individually,
or in the video-specific Creative Cloud that you can get.
Right? Yeah. It's so silly. Like that's why I guess as a freelancer, that was the biggest. Like I own Resolve, and I've owned it since I bought a Blackmagic camera like years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I get all the updates. And I never had to pay a dime since. Actually, I never paid it. Well, it came with the camera, but you can buy it for $350.
Yeah.
When it goes on sale.
I knew I was gonna get a Blackmagic camera one day, but I bought it used, so it didn't come with that. I had a 6K Pro, and it was busted anyway. Stupid camera.
I sold my 6K Pro. Maybe it was to you.
Oh, and then I sold it again for
maybe it was to you.
I got it. I used it for like half a year. I shot a wedding with it, and like the USB-C port was unreliable.
Oh no!
So like mid clip, I'd like move, and it'd be like, we lost the hard drive.
Oh,
file broke.
fuck.
So like I lost this guy.
Everything.
I literally lost like 3/4 of the wedding. I still made a great video. It was cool. I had my Canon EOS R that I would just put on sticks to just like capture stuff, and like thank God for that. But like I lost so much because like I'd be getting like the first dance. And then like I bumped into somebody and it was like corrupt. I'm like,
oh no.
Well, can you guys dance again? Can you guys run it back? You know,
that's just
So I sold it online for market value, and somebody bought it in like a week. I was like, okay. I put in big letters, broken USB-C, and they're like, give me. I was like, okay.
I guess you could still do other shit with it.
I guess maybe they might want to fix it.
You could put like what, CFAT or
You do CFast?
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So just use it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough. Hardware shit. Yep.
These cameras are kind of old, technically speaking.
Yeah.
This camera is the S1H. It's technically kind of old, but they've never had another iteration.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, do you upgrade? How do you upgrade? What do you care about? And what would even get us to upgrade to another camera or in the same family? And I'm like, well, what are we even looking for?
I've always been a Canon fanboy. Never really, same as Adobe. Like I try when I find something, I like stick to it. You know,
Nothing wrong with that, dude.
So yeah, I the first camera I bought out of school when I no longer had access to equipment was an EOS R, which was their first mirrorless.
Yep.
And it was great. Loved it. We had some limitations for like, you know, if you wanted to shoot like 4K, whatever bitrate, you had to like plug in external power and stuff like that. So like, you know, it wasn't great. But that's when eventually I went to the Blackmagic. It kind of crapped out on me. So that's when I sold it. And after that, I used the money to buy the Canon R5C.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Which is the half stills, half cinema camera. It's like literally a switch to go from, it makes it look like you're using like a C100.
Sure.
That's
like
the new,
which I love.
The new RF
classic
Yep.
TCNJ.
That's a new RF mount.
It is, but I still I use my EF lenses, because I don't know, that's what I already had, you know. I originally had a Rebel, so like I know my EF lenses, so you know.
Is that the one that shoots RAW?
It does shoot RAW.
Shoot the RAW, internal RAW.
It shoots
Yeah.
up to 8K.
Yeah,
which is
our buddy
crazy.
had one of those in the Maldives.
Does it get as hot as they say?
Yeah.
Does it heat up as much as they
It
say?
does. The fan is
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah,
Really?
I've heard that.
And it gobbles batteries down like nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I could
But you can do it.
Cookie Monster-esque with batteries. It's like,
I mean, so did the Blackmagic. That thing.
well,
eats
that's
up
true.
the-
Yeah.
Terrible.
But it's funny because like you'll switch that thing onto photo mode, and it'll be like, oh, 3 bars out of 4. You take photos for like hours. You put it on video mode, it's like, yo, low battery. Like, don't even try getting audio with that thing. You hear it, you feel it. There's like, you see the vents on the side, like I'll feel
It's
it.
vibrating your hands. You gotta wear oven mitts when you're using it.
It's nice because if my hands are a little sweaty, I put it underneath the fan. It cools me off too.
Oh, there you go.
It's a double.
It's kind of a dual function.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
Canon.
that's nice.
It's a feature.
Put it on my forehead.
Dude, that's so funny.
Why is the footage so bad? Oh, it's cooling off.
So what kind of things have you shot with it? Have you shot the RAW, or do you not normally shoot the
No,
RAW?
I honestly, again, I think it comes back to what you're saying. I don't even shoot up to the 8K because like Premiere would chug along with it. It would be really, really bad.
It was overkill for last.
Yeah, but it does like it does like the oversampled like 4K, 2K stuff like that. So I've
Yeah.
only shot up to 4K, and like honestly, with this thing, I have not shot a lot. I bought it thinking I was gonna like do a lot that year. I did a few McAllen gigs where I brought it and did photo because it has like a 48 megapixel like whatever for shots, like really, really good stills versus like the GH7s we were using. But since then, I've really just I shoot my cousin's band every once in a while, you know, things like that. I've shot some like stage plays and things, you know, just like for fun. But no, like I haven't shot any shorts with it. The last thing I shot was with the Blackmagic. And yeah, I've done a few engagement photo shoots. I like doing photos. So
Nice.
yeah.
Speaking of short films, we have transitioned here. We have a bond between us where we are all kind of linked to the Derry cinematic universe. Something that Tyler started, and not to give him no credit, but we didn't take from those ideas. It was purely a coincidence, perhaps subconsciously, perhaps.
You know, we at West 19 Productions don't cry over spilt milk. However,
How did your milk themed film come about from college days?
you know, it's really funny because like Kevin and I talk about it a lot, where like originally we wanted to, like I said before, after the first CMF that we made something and got like some awards for, we were like, we got to bring the house down next year. So we were like, we want to follow a pretty easy to, you know, follow arc of some sort. So we were like, hero movies, superhero movies are fun. You know, like we can follow that. People will know what we're referencing as soon as it starts, you know.
Right.
And it was originally going to be like an Avengers of a Balanced Breakfast.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it was gonna be
I
like
see you. I see you.
Milkman and like an Egg Boy or something like that, you know.
Egg boy.
But we weren't really sure
Write
how
that
to.
down. Write that down, Steve. Write
Like,
that
no,
down.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. No, that's ours now. You said it on the
Egg
You
boy.
said
show.
it through this
Egg boy.
microphone. We own these mics.
Trademark. Tixies Backsies. But yeah, so we were like, no, we gotta line this up a little bit more. We gotta find out what's gonna like, you know, work out a little bit more of like a focused narrative. So we landed on Milkman, and for about like a couple weeks, we didn't write a single thing. Every time we were together, we would act out the script from the first bit, because we would just joke back and forth, and he'd say something was funny, be like, all right, that's locked. We're always gonna say that. We would literally see each other, be like, well, if it isn't the Milkman. And then like literally, it took like a couple weeks before we're like, we need to write this down. Like we memorized it, sure, up to like the 3-minute mark of just like going through the motions, but we were like, all right, let's write this down. And just in case anybody watching hasn't seen it, it is a milk-based hero who was disgraced because at last year's biannual peanut butter eat-a-thon, he gave everybody spoiled milk. So he's been disgraced and pushed to the side. However, the mayor, in financial interest only, has decided to do the peanut butter eat-a-thon again this year without Milkman, and we all know that's going to be trouble. So
Still on YouTube, probably, right?
I believe so.
It's
Yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
somewhere,
yes.
yeah.
yeah. We had some little issues with it, but no, yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere. Yeah. I think we have the creamier cut that you can watch, which is the longer version. Yeah. Which is just basically we used more footage of the peanut butter eat-a-thon because we got a huge group of people together. Went to the C store. Kevin used his points and bought out all the peanut butter.
Oh my
for like
God,
2 weeks in a
dude.
row. Like literally went up and like give me all the peanut butter, and we just had a bunch of people in the park just like shoveling it. Just shoveling peanut butter, and we literally were doing it like, all right,
I
table
remember
one, we pushed over. They're like, hum nom 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 nom. It's like, all right, guys, table two. We move over there. They're hum nom nom. It was gross,
Wild.
because everyone wanted to one up the next table. So you get to one person who's eating it like a push pop, like squeezing it.
Jesus.
It's just like, yeah, that was my favorite project of all time, I think.
So ours came about because of a simple conversation when somebody didn't know what the difference between 1% and 2% milk was. And somebody said, well, you can't get a wrong one.
We're like, what if you could? What if you did?
But what have you? That's how the best ideas come
And
about.
that's how we came up with our dumbest idea ever.
What if there and showing this March 24th down in Freehold at the American Hotel, Mancow will be showcased along with other short films. March 24th,
So-
I think at 7 p.m.
No way! Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I feel like in universe, plenty of opportunities for connection.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Plenty
absolutely.
of
Oh, easy.
opportunities
Oh,
to
wow.
exist in the same universe. I mean, it is almost a hero nemesis type of thing.
It has to be. Yeah, because the guy turns into Man-Cow, right? Because
really
of the bad
does.
milk, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's-
Mancow appears. Mancow
Okay,
appears,
yes.
basically.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
Well, he's 2%. He's
What's the
98%
song
man,
saying?
2% cow.
I remember that was my favorite part was the
2%
song.
count, 98% man.
When the song came in, I was like, this is that up that your musicality brings to
Yeah,
everything. It's just
right.
like having that song. It's like, no way.
The song came in pretty late in development.
Yeah,
I
really?
remember encouraging Chris to do the song.
Yeah.
And then we put Chris in the
Well,
movie.
it's actually connected to when we were starting to goof around about the idea, and we said, what if there was a song? And I started doing the Last of Us theme on guitar.
Oh,
and
no.
that's that same. It's the very same pattern of like strumming on the acoustic
Yeah,
guitar, and it's essentially a parody of that little. And then I started going off on my own little thing.
That's
Oh,
incredible.
it's so funny.
So good.
So it added. So we were saying, what if the song was the dictator of the lore? Was kind of the expression of the lore, and so the song explains who Mancow is.
And again, that's just a really awesome, just like I don't want to say cliche, but that's like a thing in narrative, using that like the song to tell the story. You know, it's just like
I guess in like classical terms, it's like the chorus of like the Greek play.
Yeah.
You know, that explains what the fuck's going on.
literally, yeah. It is a tried and true,
Yeah.
a tool of the
Yes.
you know.
Mancow is expired from a classic Greek tragedy. Everyone go watch it now.
If there's a Q&A at this short film thing,
There is.
you
There is
guys
actually.
God,
There
we
is.
actually took a lot of inspiration from tragic tragedies.
Like, that
Odysseus.
that's not
Opera.
right.
Yeah. Classic opera.
Did we
yeah.
watch the same film? Did we talk about that movie? We don't.
Well, we didn't
man.
really say. So the plot of it basically is somebody buys the wrong milk, and in this little town in Cream Ridge, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
there is the man cow, the demon of the cream.
Deadly
Who,
consequences.
if you buy the wrong milk, will turn you into.
Well, if you waste the
incredible-
milk, it was if you waste.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
part of it is like you buy the wrong milk. Well, I can't. I don't want to.
Yeah.
You waste a drop of his cream.
Yeah. If you
Forget
buy
about
that
it.
cream, you better drink it.
You better
Yeah,
drink
finish
it.
for some reason.
It's
The
very-
song explains it.
It's in the song.
It's
So-
very
I
it's
just
very
forget how it goes.
it's Nosferatu almost. You watch Nosferatu, where it's
No,
like
I wanna
the
see it really
calling of
badly.
the calling of a great evil because of a personal type of selfish watch it and you'll see the
You'll
connections.
get it. You'll understand it.
Did you see the new one? The new one
did,
you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
I wanna
yeah.
see that.
It's a long, slow thing. I'm very happy I didn't see it in the theater because I feel like I
Okay.
would have been like, I gotta pee so bad,
Yeah,
but
okay.
like watch it at home, it
Was it beautiful cinematically? Because it looks
that
really
I'll say
beautiful.
gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Everybody that acted phenomenal. Willem Dafoe is awesome. Skarsgård as that beast he's incredible. Really, really good. Enjoyed it a lot,
Nice.
but very, very slow moving.
Okay.
Give yourself time. Don't be tired when you watch it.
We reached out to, there's a place not too far from here in Pompton Lakes. It's a stunt studio. They're like a big warehouse-ish place with like pads and wire work rigs.
cool.
And like these guys have done like a bunch of things for a bunch of different shows. Even for Fallout, they did stunts.
Oh wow.
Husband-wife team. And they, I reached out to them to do previs, like, hey, because they do rentals on their space and everything. And then they got back to me. They called me. I did drop my number in the email, but they ended up calling me together. We spoke for like a half hour. They were so cool, so nice. And they had checked out our stuff, our Star Wars stuff. They said,
yeah.
oh, they loved Apex and they were so impressed. It was like, oh, this is really cool. It's really cool to hear like professional people have done so much, like want to meet us. And like, they're like seemingly just as excited to have us come in and just come say hi,
Yeah.
check out the facilities. Like, wow, that's really cool.
Well, I mean, in a day and age where good Star Wars is hard to come by, you guys are definitely leading the charge. Like, I love when I see you guys dropping something new with, especially for the Saber comps. I'm just like, oh, heck yeah, this is going to be good.
Thank you.
No, it's funny. Like, I feel like places like that witness, they've worked with talent, obviously. So they see you guys as talent that has yet to be truly tapped into, like
Right.
you making your own stuff and all, but like, it's only a matter of time before one of those people that sees your stuff and really likes it is somebody who has a huge bank account and says, here, go make me some, so like, not to toot your own horns too much, but
Did I miss all the praise? I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm not going to say it again.
He's not gonna repeat it.
Do it again?
He's not gonna repeat
Okay,
it.
it's on camera. It's recorded.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. I'm dead.
Yeah, cut that out. Redacted.
What's fun is that we're now in like the marketing stages of not necessarily. We're still working on it, but like we came up with like a marketing strategy for Exodus,
Oh, that's
a
awesome.
social media marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Where like the movie's 33 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
and narratively, we wouldn't do it if it didn't work narratively. But you haven't technically seen it, but I believe it works narratively. The movie is being broken down into 4 chapters.
Okay.
Each chapter being under 10 minutes long. Each chapter then being released at the end of every week or a certain day every week throughout the month. And so like an entire month would be Exodus month, where we would have every chapter and treat it like, and even the other day I sent you some stuff of like, well, here's like some stuff that might be cool to make a title sequence for the
Yeah.
title of the thing.
Yeah,
like
treating it more like a show.
treating it like a
honestly.
show, trying to make
show
it
release.
trying to make it as big and as epic as possible
Sure.
and make it the biggest deal possible, and being able to like hype it up throughout the week, release a chapter, end of a chapter, have a teaser for the next one, end of the chapter, have me and Chris giving you some behind the scenes
So
of
cool.
that chapter, also linking out to like some kind of like effect or thing we did that we want to break down and talk about on the Helium
yeah.
channel, and like, have all this like meaty content within each chapter and then be able to tell the story that way. I thought and you'll see too, I think it works. I think it's really effective being able to end on cliffhangers and like, oh, what's going to happen? I think it works really well. And then at the end of that, release the entire movie.
Of course,
as a whole movie. So it's not like this or that.
Yeah.
It's like we do it all. It's social
Absolutely.
media.
And one of my favorite things about doing it that way too, and something we kind of talked about, is doing it, separating the movie into chapters like that. We are actually kind of pulling in additional footage now for each chapter that was stuff that's going to be cut from the full movie release, but actually works well within the context of a chapter or episode, if you want to call it.
That's so
to
cool.
throw in something. It's like, you know what? Let's bring that little spot that we cut back into this, because in the context of just a single chapter, it feels like it doesn't drag. And it feels like, whereas in the context of the full movie, it wasn't working.
Right. Yeah,
Here you bring it out. It's like, okay, now it's 8 minutes instead of 5, you know? And it's like, great. So we get to use that footage now that no one was ever going to see, and use it for something productive.
That's huge. That's so good.
It's really fun.
It's a great
we're,
move.
we're
That's awesome.
yeah, we're super excited.
Yeah, this eventizing of each weekly release with other
I think
things
that's what it's
included.
really about.
That's how you get people. Yeah,
Exactly. How are you gonna? You have to advocate for yourself. You have to push stuff out there yourself, and really go to town on making it a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas the alternative normal release is you get one amazing piece.
Yeah.
And then you can roll out BTS stuff, you can roll out all your different kinds, but it doesn't feel as new every time.
And like there's something to be said about, like, every once in a while a friend who makes short films will send me like, oh, watch my project, and it's like, if I get sent a 33-minute thing,
It's that part of it too.
It might take a little while for me to watch it.
Right,
But if I get sent an episode 1 and it's like a good 8-10 minutes,
Little tease.
I mean, of course, with Star Wars, I mean, I'm watching it regardless. You teased me 4 hours, I'm watching it, but like, there's something a little more digestible about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, teases and like, little snippets of each episode prior. Like, I think that's money, That's awesome.
It also
I don't see anything wrong with it.
It also came down to like just embracing the reality that the project itself can't go anywhere beyond us putting it out there on social platforms like YouTube and Instagram and stuff, because normally if it was just like a 33-minute short film, you could try to sell it.
Yeah.
You could have it at different film festivals. You could try to like get it on Amazon or something. And that is the big deal. That is the big deal. That is what you talk about. That is what you would be advertising, and that would be like the end goal of that product. And like, well, that's not our reality. We can't do that with this. So,
gosh darn it, let's do it our own way.
Do it our own way and try to, how can we capture that excitement and that hype and make it such a big deal? It's like, well, we just got to do it ourselves and make it seem like a massive deal.
You should.
And don't miss it. Don't miss it every week, and make it really fun. And yeah, it makes me excited to think about, because it brings back, like, because we've been working on it for so
so
How long has it been now?
I work on it every single day, and it's been we wrapped up filming in approximately July of 2023.
Yeah.
And we've been in post-production ever since July of 2023.
I've been doing the visual effects side of things, even though I'm not a visual effects artist, so it's taking me way too long to do shit. But I had to take so much time off last year, because last year was my busiest freelance year ever.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I had so much work going on, so
Which is
that kind of
good,
took the forefront, but the creative passion stuff kind of fell to the side.
Sure.
So thankfully this year I haven't been as busy much. I've just dipped back into the VFX.
Yeah.
And because it sucks when you don't have the time to. We put so much time already into it, so
it's one of those where like you need to finish it. Like you're going to push yourself and put more into it. But you're right. With how much you've already put into it, you'd hope it was like, are we done yet?
It's crazy. It's nice to feel re-energized about something that you've been working on. And it kind of lends itself naturally to one of the talking points that I put, which is after you put so much time, after you put so much energy in, you're looking at it 3,000 times and you've seen it 3,000 times. And there's that small part of you that is like, are people going to like it?
Yeah.
Or is, like, you're going to release it into the world and that's it.
it's that last ditch effort of
it's
self doubt.
last little self doubt.
Where you're just like, no, it's not ready yet. It's like, it's like you send your kid off to college.
Yeah,
and like it's not ready yet, but it's ready.
It really is true, right? And there's things that are still wrong with it, and you definitely have to live with all the choices that you made, the millions of choices you made leading up to the final thing. It's choices, nobody has the context that we have for the things that have done, the things we've learned, the experiences we had, and it almost seems unfair, right? It's just like they don't know the blood, sweat, and tears,
But if you add the BTS aspect, maybe even like part of your podcast talking about it, people will start to understand these little nuances of what happened and why you did this and that, which is, people love to see the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I am excited to do that.
So that's sweet.
I've kind of repurposed our Healing Turtle channel to be mainly behind the scenes stuff. So cool. Because that's the stuff I love talking about,
Yeah.
And people seem to get a lot of educational content out of it too. That's the majority of the people on our channel are always saying like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that?
Absolutely.
The others are like, you should have done this differently.
Yeah. You guys are looking like Pokemon.
Yeah. Somebody just commented on our old rain machine video.
Okay.
Of like talking about, somebody literally just commented yesterday saying like, oh, you should have done it this way. You should have, like, you did the PVC all wrong. I was like,
how old is that video?
It was 3 years too late.
You should respond and say,
it's like 5 years old.
Good idea. We'll reshoot it. Yeah. So what are you doing day to day for the film or series?
So I'm still, so we were talking about this the other day. I have project ADD when it comes to Exodus. There is an overwhelmingly amount of things to do that need to be done. Sound effects, music, still touching up some edits just from notes, or like, I was kind of working backwards on going through the scenes and just tweaking, color grading. So I'll kind of like ADD my way through a day going through all of those things. I need to kind of narrow it down and like pick a thing.
You're like coloring a scene and you're like, wait, I also want to add a sound effect.
Hold on. It's true. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Because as I go, like, all right, well, I'm going to commit to editing and make sure, like, go back and just go this up. Like, well, that shot's not graded. So let me just go into there and copy and paste that over.
It doesn't look quite right.
Doesn't look right. It doesn't really match. Okay, then I'll like spend like 2 hours color grading.
You get no editing done yet.
I guess some of it is fun. It's fun because I can kind of do whatever I feel in the mood to do, which I guess is nice, but not productive necessarily.
Sure.
Technically, right now, the main thing I have to do is we had a 30-minute festival cut.
Okay.
A sub 30-minute actually, over the summer, like in August last year. And that was my attempt to try to see like if we can make this movie, which started at 43 minutes.
Crazy.
Not a tight edit, to say.
Sure.
Can I whittle that down to under 30 minutes so that we can enter different film festivals? And involved cutting a lot of things out and involved tightening things up. A lot of the tightening of things up worked really well. Cutting things out, not so much.
Sure.
When we went back in retrospect and sat on it, we added those things back in that I cut out, thus making the movie 33 minutes. And then I had to go back and be like, well, I sped a lot of things up on timing. I made it so that sometimes some of these shots cut too quickly, or you're not in this for long enough. Like I made it too tight in some areas to try to hit that time, if that makes sense. And then like, so now I've been working my way backwards to like go back, watch scenes, and then make adjustments.
Sure.
To kind of like course correct some of those things and kind of meet in the middle. I think overall the movie will probably end up being like 34 minutes, something like that when I'm done, I guess. I don't have too much more to go. And then there's like some feedback that's yet to be done. There's like a montage part that like needed a music switch and needed some shot rearranging. So I'm still trying to figure out what feels right there. So it's a combination of that, and then sometimes getting sidetracked with like title sequence ideas, or like music choices, or color grading. Which the color grading's fun because I'm trying to learning so much.
Oh, dude, Mike has got light years beyond me, light years beyond anybody I know in terms of just not only learning different things but experimenting with different workflows, and different node chains and things like that. And
it's a lot.
That's so cool.
It's a lot, but it's sticking and it's working. And I'm able to I'm finally understanding like what things are doing and why do you adjust the lift gamma gain and what is that actually doing? And why do you adjust the contrast curve? Can you just slide this and like how does that actually work versus your S curves and like you know, learning all these things but I'm pulling from so many different like color grading people that are out there and just combining techniques, combining node trees and figuring out like what is working best for this, getting things in a place where like looks great. Now can I bring that over here? And then like, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Sure.
But I'm to a certain degree, I want to do the footage justice. It's raw 12-bit footage. I want to make sure I'm doing that footage
most
justice
out of it as you can.
Yeah, the stuff that you're pulling out of it is ridiculous. Like we thought it looked good before.
Yeah.
Then you see the new and you're like,
I
what?
genuinely think, as much as the VFX are also some people love to see, I think doing breakdowns of like your coloring, your node trees and stuff like that, people are gonna love that.
Yeah, I'm super psyched to go into detail with that and bring the project here and get the camera nice set up.
I watch people doing stuff in DaVinci all the time, and like I don't even use DaVinci, but I'll watch like hours of like a guy just being like, "All right, I did this with that." I'm just like, "This is so much fun," you know?
Sure,
just
man.
like,
Sure. Yeah, we'll do scene breakdowns. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the first hype. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be a fan of this. Yeah,
go.
Gotta become a fan.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you.
I'm excited, guys. Every time you guys make it, you kill it.
Thank you.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, having the marketing strategy is big. You know, like I want if you guys thought of like reaching out to these other Saber, like you know, Star Wars influencers and stuff, giving them like, you know, sneak peeks or something, and that would be a really cool idea. We've had we didn't technically do that, but some of our past movies got lucky that some people would make reaction videos to watching our stuff, which is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, we didn't go to that level of like sending it to some people because there are some Star Wars like YouTube influencers and social media people that could like talk about. They have a fan that, you know, just utilizing the fan base. Yeah, tap into their fan base and be like, oh, you know, just share. You know, be like, hey, would love for you guys to review this. Love your work. You know,
yeah, definitely feasible. Yeah, that's a great idea, Ty.
No, it's a great idea.
That's something we also do sometimes. Like influencer outreach is like a big thing because they got the audience. You know, tap in.
I mean, exactly. That's just your pool. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. So I want to ask Mike and Chris, now that you can actually
earmuffs
see
for us
the finish line of Exodus, right? Mm-hmm. Not to say that you don't still have a long way to go, but you can at least see it. Putting all this time, all these hours into the project, and like Chris was talking about with self-doubt as you approach the end, wondering if people are going to like it, and like the three of you were discussing with sending this out to influencers to react, to potentially reach a much broader audience. How do you prepare yourself for the potential feedback, criticisms? You know, do you think that it's gonna weigh heavier considering the amount of time that you've put into it this time around compared to your other projects? Because obviously in production, nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're always making decisions that might dictate whether something goes one way or the other. There's always things that you could have done differently.
Yeah, personally, there is a lot of pressure, but also personally, when I make stuff, especially stuff of that nature, I'm typically making it for like two people. Like in my head, I'm making it for Eric, and I'm making it for Garrett. Those are the two people that I like when we do projects like this or short film stuff. I'm pretty much just making it for those two people. Who are they? My brother. Okay. And my friend, who are the people that you just good said? Friend. Who's that? My good friend from goes all the way back from preschool. Been friends since preschool. My friend Garrett. I love that. So those are the only two people that, not to say like they're the only two that their opinions matter, but technically how they feel about it, and is this good enough? Is like, well, are they gonna like this? Yeah. Right. Well, and I think just trying to compartmentalize like who you're making these things for, these passion projects that like you're going to put out there, and you're going to be opening yourself up to criticism and you know, the trolls of the internet. And we've been subject to that. Like there's so many good praise comments on YouTube, but there's also so many like trolly comments. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not, people can say whatever they want. Once it's out there, it's like, it's their opinion. It's like, that's fine. Say whatever you want. I made the thing that they thought was really cool. And that's all that matters to me. And like, well, I still think it's really cool.
Yeah. And those people that are leaving hate comments are sitting in their own filth, typing in a basement while you're out there making it. It's a CEO leaving a meeting. Hate this. Now back to being a millionaire.
Did not enjoy it. No, back to my
But there is still a pressure that I feel because it's so large.
Sure.
And did we put so much time into it? There is still a pressure to like get it right. And I think because it's gone on so long, it does create expectations. And yeah, I want to blow those two people away.
Yeah.
And that means you have a great creative and honest circle, that sounds like, with those two, Eric and Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just double check with Chris, not you.
I got you. I like that. I'm the historian.
Yeah, that means they're honest with you, and that means you respect. That's great to have. Not a lot of people have that, and that's why some people, I feel like, don't pursue and push out their creative, masterpieces, because they don't have somebody to tell them like, "Hey, man, no, this is good." They just support. Yeah,
yes, it's nice to have. It's really nice to have that support.
That's awesome.
And have like two people be big fans of our stuff. So it's like, well, if I can make them happy, then that's great. That's my bar.
Right.
Yeah, the rest of the people
That's
don't
your
matter.
level.
The rest of people don't matter.
People
Like,
that matter like it. Good.
Right. That's good.
Release it.
And then maybe other people will follow. Yeah, but then that's out of my control. And so like, I don't try not to worry about it.
Yeah, people are
don't think
going to
about
hate everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, putting putting ourselves out there, I guess doesn't bother me as much. Or no, actually never really bothered me, but it's been so long.
Yeah.
We've put so many things out there. I put myself on camera so many times out there. I'm not worried about like, what are they going to think of my performance? I kind of don't like this or that. And it's like, I've done it so many. I go back and look at the stuff. I fucking sucked in that or like whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when it comes to your own stuff, you're always pointing flaws in your own work.
Yeah.
I think in the context of, I'm in that same kind of boat where it's like, it's out there. People are going to say what they're going to say. When I talk about when I say self-doubt, when I was talking about before, I really am talking about self-doubt. I'm trying to meet my own bar. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, I feel that too.
I'm competing against myself.
Yeah. We're
As you should be.
And I am
As
a
you should
tough
be.
competitor because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's the best way to be.
We're our biggest critics
Yeah.
are ourselves. Yeah.
I feel like the second you're like, okay, like you're like, oh, I did it. I made the best thing ever. I'm never going to beat this. Like, you've stopped. You suck. You
made it.
Well, okay, wait, no, hold on. Wait. Don't use my words.
I don't know because he did say that. So I feel like now.
Hold on. Let me
Wait a second.
I suck. I suck, guys.
No, I know what you're saying.
No, yeah. And that's fantastic. You should never meet your bar.
Yeah, never stop changing, never stop growing, never stop learning.
For sure.
All learning.
Yeah.
I
I have a question.
think that's it.
Kind of related to that a little bit. You were shocked and we had a laugh about it, but what is your both definition of making it?
Oh. Well, see, I never had one.
Okay. That's a truthful.
The name is the double entendre, you know.
Sure.
And over time, thinking about it more and more. I mean, I'm saying this because of the show name, but I'm also saying it in terms of how I think about it. It's really not about quote unquote making it. It's about making a thing.
Making it. Not making it, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So that was originally the double meaning of it.
all right.
Was like, oh, you're also making a thing, but you're also like trying to make it. And it's like everyone's obsessed with, making it and getting to the top, getting where you want to go.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of like, I just want to make the next thing.
Make another it.
So
Yeah.
that's
I like
my
that.
2 cents on that.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
awesome.
It's about making the journey is really important.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I guess it is really similar to that
But-
quote, and just enjoying what you do along the way to wherever the hell you're going. And no one really knows where they're going.
For sure.
Because, life changes, things change, people move, people change careers, people, and you just, you keep finding what makes you happy.
I like it.
To answer your question directly or literally, personally, would be that when I don't have to do, how when I can just do one thing, or when I can just stick to, because life changes. What I want, I can't say it's like one thing. Oh, once I direct, or I want to be a director, I want to be a feature film director.
Yeah.
It's not just like one thing, because I don't even know, because that, what I want to do and where I want to be constantly changes, could constantly change.
Sure.
So, but it's the idea that like, oh, I have to work on Exodus. Oh, but I also have to do like this client shoot, or I also have to do this client edit, or like there's like this school that wants to do videos, or like it's this, and it's like, I haven't made it yet because I'm being pulled in so many different directions, and I'm being pulled in directions for things that I don't want to do. But when I'm at a level when I can just be doing the one thing that I want to do all the time, and then not have to worry about finances, not have to worry about those things are being taken care of because of this one thing that I have to do, that then I will probably personally feel like I made it. That would be a nice, right now, that would be a nice thing to do. If I could just work if I could just work on our movie, and then movie
that truly encapsulates the doing what you love,
right,
and being able to make a living from it. That truly is the artist's dream,
For sure.
Yeah.
Both fantastic answers. You can keep the name.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really didn't want to change it.
Call off the lawyers.
Call off.
Tell Kevin he doesn't. He could drop out.
He's in his last like 3 months. Drop out, man. You're done. Oh man.
Just want to wrap this up here. I would as much as I would love to play a game with Tyler, because
I know. I didn't really have one.
Games
As a fan of the show, I know there's a game at the end of it.
You disappointed him.
but sometimes but sometimes the whole show is just so much fun that you don't need the game.
It is the game.
It is
Maybe
the
the
game.
game was the game
game
you
of
gamed
life.
all along.
You're being game this whole time.
Game. Oh god.
Game.
Oh, there are hidden cameras everywhere.
There are a lot of cameras in this apartment. Steve, load up Mario Kart.
Let's do a quick little 200cc.
Do a quick little Koopa Troop
do a
Island.
little Toadstool tour.
Do a quick little
Just because
circuit.
I have to hit the road.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched so many things, guys. I think we touched almost everything on that list and more.
Wow.
Pretty incredible.
Feeling touched.
And if I was gonna do a game, it would be to name every state's capital. That's what I would do.
You're right. Yeah, there's no time for a game, guys. No time at all. Yeah.
I think I could do probably 6 of them. How many do you think you could get right?
None. 0. I lost.
Okay.
You
Mike
want
really
to-
wants us to wrap up.
I have to leave it.
Tyler, thank you so much for coming in. What a fantastic experience it's been.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hey, gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And
Episode 27 in the books.
boom.
Tyler, if anyone wants to see your work or
send
keep
you
up with
mail.
you or send you mail or send you death threats,
mail.
would you like to shout out anything?
Shoes? What's your shoe size?
Yes, he has a wish list online.
Yes, go to Amazon wish
go
list.
to okay, send me some shoes, and I'll talk to you about Chucky all you want. Follow me at Tyler Christian Law on Instagram.
All right, there was a link at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah. And watch Sci-Fi Network, Oxygen Network,
Yes.
USA Network.
Somehow
Support his work.
It indirectly pays him, probably.
Well, yeah.
Mike, let's get you out of here. Thank you to Steve again for producing. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
We
Thank you,
appreciate your
Steve.
work and love you guys. And everyone be well. Cheers.